Dust Devil, a fascinating story of a shape-shifting demon that will leave you impressed. Many high-profile films with large budgets became popular in the 1990s, providing audiences with hours of entertainment and heart-pounding thrills. Today's film analysis digs deeper into Richard Stanley's 1992 film, Dust Devil. Robert Burke played the enigmatic hitchhiking force of evil who roamed Namibia's barren desert dunes in search of his prey in Stanley's feature film, which he also wrote. The ideas and inspiration for the film, according to Stanley, came from a childhood drawing of an imaginary character named the Vanishing Hitchhiker. As a result, it was one of his personal projects that used traditional storytelling methods similar to color out of space. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Exploring the story in details. In the opening scenes of Dust Devil, a Sangoma, or Southern African tribe member named Joe Niemand, is seen reciting a chant that describes the evil demonic force that roams the Namibian deserts and hunts down his prey. However, unlike the psychopathic killings seen in other horror films of its time, the Dust Devil only hunts victims who are vulnerable and seeking voluntary death. The film adequately portrays supernaturalism and voodooism associated with the killings committed by the demonic hitchhiking force. Even before the main plot of the film began, we could see the Dust Devil devour his first prey. Sarji Harov picks up a hitchhiker and later has a sexual relationship with him. The mood of the scene, however, changed in an instant when Sarji was killed by the Dust Devil and her house was burned down, leaving her body in her car. When it comes to the classic horror films of the 90s, the Dust Devil stands out from the crowd. It is due to the touch of supernaturalism or black magic associated with the motives behind the kills. The Dust Devil, unlike other psychopathic killer movies, only hunted the lonely and the lost. He was seen performing demonic rituals with their corpse in order to capture their spirits and improve his demonic abilities. Later in the film, we witness a domestic dispute between Wendy Robinson and her husband Mark. The argument escalates to a point where Mark hits Wendy and she leaves him and drives all the way to the Namibian deserts. Meanwhile, local police officers named Sergeant Ben Mukarab and Captain Bayman investigate Sarji's case and conclude that her death was not an accident, but a murder. The officers collected strange pictures from the walls of Sarji's house. Later in the film, Mukarab contacts his old tribal acquaintance, Joe Niemand, who verifies from the image that a Natloper carried out the murders, also known to the Namibians as a shape-shifting creature that killed its prey in order to obtain dominion over the materialistic world. Mukarab also discovers that a Natloper is constantly on the go, stalking his prey, and can only be defeated by luring it into stepping on a bewitched wooden club known as a Eerie stick. To prohibit the devil from possessing Mukarab after he is slain, Joe gives Mukarab a Eerie stick and a sacred root that will keep him secure from the demon's wicked limits. Wendy, on the other side, is traveling across Namibia's scorching deserts when she encounters the hitchhiker or Dust Devil. Her unawareness of the hitchhiker's intentions is one of the most essential elements contributing to the suspenseful tone of the film. An interesting and thrilling moment in the film is when he takes the pictures of his victims before killing them. Wendy's vulnerability was prominently featured in the film as the key factor that drew the devil to her. Wendy experienced a series of ghostly events after meeting the enigmatic hitchhiker, culminating in her driving past the exact same hiker who then vanishes from her speeding car. Later that night, she stayed at a roadside motel and was about to commit suicide when she realized she was being watched by an unseen entity. Ultimately, Wendy was unable to kill herself and decided to continue her drive to the middle of the sea instead. She runs into the same hitchhiker once more the following morning as she returns to her car after checking out of the motel. Wendy was initially upset over the man's sudden absence the day before, but the hoaxer's sincere apology made Wendy feel a bit sorry for him. Thus, she agrees to tag him along on her drive ahead. Meanwhile, in another scene, Captain Bayman hands Mukarab some important documents that contained information about a similar style of murder dating back to 1908. Mukarab's convictions regarding the Dust Devil are strengthened by his evidence. He has decided to take down the demon by himself with the help of the instructions provided to him by Joe. Therefore begins his expedition to hunt down the Natloper. The suspense of the movie was maintained throughout through the association of two different scenes simultaneously narrating the story. While Sergeant Mukarab was preparing for his expedition, Dust Devil was already luring his next prey into his death trap. In the meanwhile, Wendy's husband, Mark, was seen searching for his wife across the Namibian deserts, but little did he know that his abandoned wife is romantically involved with none other than the devil himself. Both Wendy and the hiker were empathetically connected to each other, which erected an automatic sense of trust within Wendy for that man. However, her sense of trust was completely shattered, and she was tremendously horrified when she witnessed the devil's human finger collection. Upon realizing Dust Devil's crooked intentions, Wendy tries to escape, but the devil was quick enough in confronting her, resulting in a physical assault between the petrified girl and the demonic evil entity. Although it is obvious that the powers of the knotloper were 100 times more than Wendy's, she managed to escape his clutches. However, she ends up running away from the evil spirit into the dreary desert sands of Namibia. Here, the director beautifully portrays that on one side, Wendy identifies the man as the creature, and on the other hand, the police identify the same. From here, the action and drama begin. Wendy escapes, and to stop her, the knotloper comes to her original form and runs after her. Here, it is very necessary to know that the beast finds its prey on only those who are alone, and here, Wendy left her husband to find out the macho man of her dreams. The beast kept a record of her prey, photographs with the exact time of their slaughter by himself and their cut fingers. Wendy had seen all these, which made her realize that he is a killer. She fled only to be trailed by the man who had now turned himself into the beastly creature. Here we come to the concluding part of the story, where Wendy runs and the beast was unable to stop the car. Then, the beast uses his supernatural powers to manipulate the brakes and wheel of the car and tries an accident with an oil tanker. Resulting there was a spillage of oil everywhere. The beast, who by this time had transformed once again into a man, blew up the hole along with Wendy, who was trapped inside her car following the accident. But his intentions were not fulfilled, as somehow Wendy managed to escape, eluding the sight of the beast. After the fire was nearly extinguished, the beast returned to the site only to find that his intentions are still not fulfilled. Wendy is alive and escaping into the deep desert. Thus once again starts the cat and mouse chase. Sometimes the devil takes the form of a snake and haunts Wendy in her sleep to make her walk. Through the scorching heat and desert, Wendy walked running away from the devil, and the devil guided her to the place where it all started, a deserted town engulfed in sand. It is here we find the inspector, who also came in search of the beast. The inspector was given a special dagger by Joe, which must be thrust into the body of the beast. If this was not done, then one who kills the beast shall possess it. Likewise, the soul of the evil gets transferred from one body to another, killing all those who are lonely and sad.
Otherwise, he may take you, his murderer, to be his new host.
The penultimate climax comes when Wendy, the inspector, and the knotloper confronts each other. The inspector gets stabbed by the beast before he could put the knife through the body. Seeing this, Wendy shoots the beast and bursts its skull. In the end, we find that now Wendy possesses the dust devil inside her and walks off. Marvelous verdict. Dust Devil is a horror thriller of the 90s and a suspenseful drama that keeps audiences glued on the edge of their seat. The movie is surely an underrated gem and is worth watching. It is more like a Hollywood horror than a mystery film. The film's outstanding acting and production make it worthwhile to watch. Director Richard Stanley had produced this gem, but it is not the best in his collection. Stanley felt that his film was not initially a horror film. He admitted that this film was influenced by El Topo, made by Alejandro Jodorowsky, Simon of the Desert by Luis Buñuel, and Once Upon a Time in the West by Sergio Leone. He described this film as a collage between Italian gialli and the spaghetti western films, especially noting the good, the bad, and the ugly. Previously, Stanley made his film Hardware with a £1 million budget, which fetched $70 million US. This film was budgeted for £2.8 million. Although the film was not able to top the box office marvelously, it seems to rejoice its horror enthusiast audience through the different elements of shapeshifting and supernatural activities. Somewhere in the film, it seems very slow, but that slowness builds up the suspense. In the end, all the main characters are clubbed in the final scene for the climax. We, as audiences, would have expected the demolition of the demon, but here the director keeps the shapeshifter alive for the next sequel, which would have been a possibility. Overall, if you are a horror or supernatural enthusiast, then this film will give you a chill. Exploring the Dust Devil. Dust Devil is a devil, a shapeshifter, Robert Burke, who comes from a desert in search of victims. His victims are those who are lonely and unloved, or those who have already lost everything but life itself. In short, the devil preys on those who are unworthy of life. As a result, he would kill them to perform his demonic ritual and thereby increase his supernatural powers. This shapeshifter had a distinctive way of keeping track of his victims, which gave us the impression that he might be a psychotic serial killer in some ways. He chronicles the moment of his victims' deaths in photographs and collects their fingers in a box as a reminder of his rituals. Additionally, he traveled with these trinkets. Along with the dusty desert winds, the shapeshifter had the power to acquire any form and go wherever he pleased. The devil in the movie had the power to change into various animals to stalk its prey. The dust devil could be stopped, nevertheless, in one specific way. Only by fooling the shapeshifter into stepping on a Eerie stick could the evil spirit be resisted. However, while encountering resistance in its rituals, could possess the body of the person killing it. Thus, the monster presented in the movie contributed to the heart-pounding thrill that gave the movie its cult following.
It's come to this. You and your stupid pride.
Conclusion. The movie Dust Devil, directed by Richard Stanley, isn't one of his best, but it's still exciting to watch. Even if the plot isn't very exceptional, the director used conventional storytelling techniques to capture viewers with the intriguing plot. Robert Burke and Chelsea Fields brought the characters of the story to life with their superb performances. As a result, this film is what you're looking for if you like horror and supernaturalism. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone!
The desert knows her name now.